Well, the day has finally come. Apple is releasing the final version of iOS 18, so today I will tell you about the top 7 features of iOS 18 that you should try right after you install it. It will be interesting. My name is Maksim. Let's go. Yes, and of course we will talk about iOS 18 in general, how it works, whether it is worth installing, and everything you love. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, please give it a thumbs up. It would make me happy and help the channel grow. Down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you won't miss anything cool and interesting, and YouTube will send you a notification when a new video is released. So, let's start with what we have coming out. iOS 18, iPadOS 18, watchOS 11, of course the new macOS, the new visionOS, tvOS, in general, just as you all love it. Besides that, if we talk about the size, how much will all of this weigh? If you're upgrading from older versions of the operating systems, such as 15, 16, or early versions of 17, you may need to download a full package of 6-9 gigabytes, which is completely normal. If we consider the latest versions of iOS 17, the update usually ranges from 1 to 3 gigabytes, which is also normal. Along with this, Apple will release another version, iOS 17.7, but naturally it will only include security patches. There is nothing particularly new or interesting there. So if you want, you can stay on it for now, but if you don't, you can already upgrade to iOS 18. So in the new iOS, there are traditionally many new features, over 250 to be exact. However, we won't cover them all, as there are many minor features that don't significantly impact the user experience, but they are still present. Here, I will tell you the basics, the main things to try right after the update. The first thing to talk about, of course, is the new customization features in iOS 18. Well, of course, we can now place icons anywhere we want. We can now choose a dark or light theme for the icons as well, and everything adapts accordingly. Additionally, we can repaint the icons in a specific color, and this also applies to third-party icons, allowing you to customize the design to suit your personal preferences. Secondly, we can customize the lock screen. Do you remember the flashlight and of course the camera buttons? If this has been bothering you constantly, now you can change them to absolutely any others. Or if you don't need them, you can completely remove them from the lock screen. Hooray! Finally, we have received Android-like customization. Thirdly, we have a new control center, where firstly the design has been changed and customization has been added. You can now create multiple screens, customize everything to your liking, drag any icon to any place, and there is the option to turn Bluetooth or Wi-Fi on and off directly from there, whatever you need. In general, they really went all out on customization here. You all have been waiting and wanting this, so hurry to the settings to customize the control center. The fourth and cool feature to try is, of course, the new functions in Safari, specifically the built-in so-called ad block. However, it's not quite the full ad block in its maximum form. It doesn't completely block ads. Instead, on each site, you can select individual banners and simply remove them. If you don't want a banner ad to appear on a certain site, you can click on it and it triggers what is known as the Thanos effect, where he snaps his fingers and that element just dissolves into nothingness. Of course, you should try the new calculator, which has been upgraded to the maximum. Yes? You can no longer delete numbers with swipes as you could before, but along with this, many new additional features have been added. Of course, there is the converter that can convert anything into anything. The design and interface of the calculator have also changed. It now looks somewhat different, features a calculation history, and most importantly, there is a new section called Mathematical Notes, which pleased many during the presentation. You take it, tap on the math notes in the calculator, a special option opens up, and you can draw examples of problems, equations, and graphs by hand, and all of this will be displayed. Moreover, if you change any variables, this will also be reflected in the graphs or equations of certain problem examples. It's clear that this topic may not be for everyone, but at least playing around with it and showing what iOS can actually do is always a strong point. Along with this, we now have the ability to password protect and hide applications. This means you can now hide app icons so that no one can see that you have them. To do this, a special folder labeled Hidden appears in the app library. Naturally, access to this folder of apps or access to the app itself on the regular home screen can be blocked using Face ID or Touch ID, depending on which device you have. I know many have been waiting to hide their dirty little secrets from others. Finally, you now have the opportunity to do so without any additional commands and so on. And of course, the feature without which humanity could no longer exist. The feature that Android users have been waiting for on the iPhone for decades is the ability to pause video recording. Yes, with iOS 18 you now have this capability, and you can record a video, pause it, change the lens, switch cameras, and then continue recording if you really need to. That's it. There are no more reasons for Android users to say that the iPhone is garbage. And now, they need to go and buy these iPhones. I see no other way for them. Of course, once again, this is far from being all the features of iOS 18. These are just the things that are worth trying to set up for yourself in the first day or two to understand what works for you and what doesn't. For example, they redesigned the photo app, and if you liked it, then I don't know, maybe you're just different from me. Okay, I'm joking. In reality, I just didn't like how they revamped the photo app. The design is somewhat strange and not intuitive, and there have been many redesigns and changes in the system. I've shared the main points with you, but many features are still unavailable, including several functions related to Apple Intelligence that are not accessible in iOS 18.1 or iOS 18.2. These are primarily for the new iPhones, like the iPhone 15 Pro and the iPhone 16 series, while Apple has implemented most of what it wanted for the regular models this year. I would also like to highlight the ability to stream the iPhone screen to a Mac, which is great. Additionally, we have the option to record phone calls, but it's currently unavailable and is promised only in iOS 18.1. However, it will work for all devices, starting from the iPhone 12 or something like that, so it won't be an exclusive feature of Apple Intelligence. We will of course discuss this in our videos about iOS 18.1. If we talk about the system itself, how it works, whether everything is fine, I installed the RC pre-release build, and of course it works more or less normally. The performance is also more or less good, and regarding battery life, everything has been adjusted relative to the release version. It's clear that it's not the same as the release version of iOS 17 on a new smartphone, but sorry, the smartphone is already a year old, the battery is getting worn out, and the phone itself is also getting old, so this is absolutely normal. Overall, I can't say that I have any major issues or that it works poorly. It was decent on the first beta, but by the release that decency has probably improved a bit. I can say that nothing is glitching, nothing is lagging, all applications launch, and I don't observe any obvious problems. Of course, there are some bugs, somewhere at some point, but come on, this is iOS and that's normal. It has always been, and continues to be. Whether or not to install iOS 18 right now depends on two factors. If you are like me and don't really care about battery life, thinking that if it runs out you can just charge it again, then go ahead and do it. There's nothing that would really break the system. If battery life is important to you, I would recommend waiting a week or two. I also suggest checking the comments here, watching videos from other bloggers about battery life, and if it performs well on other smartphones similar to yours, like the iPhone 11, then you can consider updating. In case of any issues, you can roll back within about a month from the release. But of course, people will always ask me, do you recommend it? Yes, I recommend it. I will install it on all my devices in the family, both old and new. I see no reason not to update, but I know that for many, this is a very principled question, like, damn, battery life is the most important thing for me. In that case, it might be better to wait a little while if we are talking about what lies ahead. Next, we are expecting the release version of iOS 18.1. This is where we will see call recording and the first features of Apple Intelligence. It should be around October. And then we are expecting iOS 18.2 sometime in December. These are Apple's plans for this year. If you found this video helpful or enjoyable in any way, please give it a thumbs up. It would make me happy and help the channel grow. Subscribe to the channel down there, hit the bell so you won't miss anything cool, and your iron will get a notification about the release of the new video. Naturally, down below, as I mentioned, write the model of your device, especially if you have updated to the final release version, and share how your smartphone is performing. This will help many people, and of course, I would be happy to discuss how you feel about iOS 18. Well, this was Maksim. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.